It's Saturday, April 12th, 2025, and at the small station of Mindaribba, we see a mixed freight train from SCT Logistics from Paterson, hauled by a GT46C ACE unit numbered SCT010, and a CSR Ziyang SDA1 unit numbered CSR023. While the Hunter Valley is a rail fan's paradise with an array of freight and passenger trains, on this day we visit the Hunter Valley for the annual Steamfest, as we see 4501 leading 3526 for Saturday through Mindaribba on one of its shuttle trips to Paterson. The train is making its return trip to the hub of the festival since its inception in 1986, Maitland. At Lochinvar, we wait for the Powerhouse Museum's 3265 with one of its shuttle trains to Branxton. But first, we see more freight trains, starting with 5031 from Horizon on an empty coal train. .5099 is seen assisting at the rear. On June 3rd, 2020, 5031 was involved in an accident at Arkadaşları Bank in the Hunter Valley with 5034 after assisting a loaded coal train. The outcome of the accident from Office of Transport Safety Investigations can be found in the link below. Next, we see 3 units from Pacific National as they make their way down on the dedicated freight line with a fully loaded coal train, either heading for Port Waratah, otherwise known as Carrington Coal Terminal in Carrington, or Kooragang Coal Terminal on Kooragang Island, ready to be shipped to other countries. Another empty coal train hauled by 3 units from the former Australian subsidiary of US freight company Genesee in Wyoming, with the middle unit sporting the new name One Rail Australia. It was done after Genesee and Wyoming was sold to Brookfield Infrastructure Partners and GIC Private Limited, while 51% of the shareholdings that Genesee and Wyoming had remained were sold to Dutch pension fund PPGM in 2019. The sale of the 51% share was done to prevent blockage of the sale by the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, ACCC, due to Brookfield already having other rail assets in Australia. Horizon bought out One Rail Australia in October 2021. However, the east coast side of One Rail's coal operations was acquired by Magnetic Rail Group in 2023. Speaking of Horizon, we see 2 units of theirs on the down freight line hauling a mixed freight. Next we see a 6-car Explorer set passing through.
Customers, on platform 1, the next train does not stop at this platform. Please stand behind the yellow line. Please stand clear.
Then finally we see one of the stars of the day, 3265. (4201) assisted the 32 for Saturday. As we wait for the return of the steam train, we see more coal trains passing through, such as 3 Pacific National units passing through with empty coal train, with 2 at the front and 1 in the middle. another empty coal train with 2 units from Horizon. And another empty coal train with 3 units from Pacific National. (4201) is now seen pulling 3265 and its train back to Maitland. We now move to Branxton to see 3265 on another shuttle train from Maitland. The siding, next to the up line going towards Scone where the loco is on, was part of the airfield colliery branch, leading to the site of the colliery at Rothbury. Due to the economic hardship of 1929 thanks to the Great Depression, the mine owners decided to reduce miners' wages. But the Miners' Federation did not agree with the terms, and the mine was closed. 8 months later, the colliery, which was located at Rothbury, brought in non-union labour into the mine, and locking out what is believed to be 10,000 miners who were protesting the move. The mines were taken over by the then Thomas Babbage government. This led what was to be the bloodiest event in national industrial history, which became known as the Rothbury Riot or the Rothbury Affair, when New South Wales police drew their revolvers to the locked out miners. 1 person died, who was Norman Brown at age 29, while an unknown number were injured, but is believed to be 45. The matter had been settled in 1930 when the miners accepted the pay cut. A memorial had been erected on the location of the riots on its 60th anniversary in 1989 in commemoration of the event, as well as a tribute to the miners on Wine Country Drive and Reed Street in North Rothbury. The mine closed down in 1974, and part of the line was the site of the Hunter Valley Railway Trust, which was established in 1975 but dissolved in 2022, as the trust was evicted from its site for housing development following a court case from the Supreme Court of New South Wales. 4201 now leads the train back to Maitland. We now move to Maitland, and we see 3526 in the siding being serviced while resting, ready for more activities for the Sunday event, including the annual Great Train Race. Meanwhile, 3265 is seen moving out of the yard to get ready to be placed on display at the station during Steamfest After Dark, which is only on the Saturday event of Steamfest. After filming these shots, the 32 made its way back to the yard to make way for a local commuter train, as we see it entering the station once again to continue its display for attendees, which is where we conclude Saturday's event. Next day, Sunday, April 13th, we see 3526 pointing towards the Newcastle end of Maitland as it's getting ready to take its passengers as far as Port Waratah to get ready for this year's Great Train Race. Before it departs, some people were climbing into its cab for a look.
Good morning, customers on Maitland Station. Those catching the 841 and the 855 service, steam service.
Meanwhile, we see 3 Horizon units with a fully loaded coal train. While the 35 awaits departure, we see 3 units from One Rail Australia with an empty coal train. In the yards, 3265, our loco will be riding for the race this year, is now seen getting ready to collect its passengers for the race. Like last year, the diesel assistance has been switched. 4501 will now assist the 32, as 4201 will be assisting the 35. With passengers on board, 3526 now leaves Maitland for Port Waratah. To see what the journey would look like, you can find it in our 2024 special of Steamfest. The 32 will now be manoeuvred to platform 3 as well, where the 35 was earlier. While 3526 heads for Port Waratah, our loco will head as far as Broadmeadow, and will meet up with our contender at Waratah as seen here.
Have you enjoyed second place? Don't feel so bad. Second place is not too bad.
While the 35 was seen on the right hand side, it will pass under us at the overpass near Mayfield, where for the rest of the journey, the 35 will be seen on the left. And so, the race is on between 2 steam engines and a Tiger Moth biplane VHRNI for the Royal Newcastle Aero Club at Rutherford. After the race, 3526 was declared the winner for 2025. Here the engine will now pull into Maitland since it was using the dedicated freight line. With the race over for another year, 3526 will now take its passengers to Branxton, and 3265 will take its passengers to Paterson. With 3526 on its way, we see two One Rail Australia units, which were GWU004 and XRN028 with a fully loaded coal train. As the fully loaded coal train passes through, behind it is an empty coal train from Horizon. We now move to the signal box, where model trains are on display once again by the Coalfields Model Railway Club. After that, we move to the rally ground, where on display we see all types of vehicles from traction engines to stationary machinery. Meanwhile, 4501 is seen leading 3265 back to Maitland from Paterson. This traction engine is helping to steam corn cobs. 4201 is seen nearby, returning with 3526 from Branxton, awaiting for a clear path into Maitland. The locomotive seen here with its chassis is ex-New South Wales Government Railway 1042 the 10X class fleet, built by Henry Vale and Company in Sydney in 1887, and was withdrawn in 1973 as a yard shunter at Cardiff, where it was later plinth outside the works until 1994, when it moved to Maitland. Plans are made to bring 1042 back as a static display piece. The chassis was restored by the Maitland Steam and Antique Association. With the path cleared, 4201 now leads the train back into Maitland. We take more of a look at the displays at the rally ground. Then we see 3526 heading for Branxton once again. We say farewell to Maitland for another year, and move to Greta to see 3526 with its second last train to Branxton. As we wait for the loco on its return journey, we see another empty coal train hauled by 3 Pacific National units, which were 9305, 9324, and 9203, as they make their way to the siding leading to their train support facility. As the train creeps its way through, 4201 now leads the train once again to Maitland. An explorer set is seen passing through after stopping to collect and drop off passengers at Menangle in the MacArthur region on Monday, April 14th, while we await for 3265 and 3526 making their way home to Thelmere from Maitland. The 2 locos had also dropped off their booked passengers at Hornsby and Concord West, where they were collected for the one-way trip to Maitland on Friday, April the 11th. With Steamfest over for another year, the 2 locos are now seen storming through Menangle. 2026 will mark 40 years of Steamfest's establishment, and we hope there'll be something big to celebrate that milestone. But for now, let us enjoy the rest of the 2025 Steam season.